Sword and Fairy Inn 2 is a spin-off of the popular role-playing franchise Sword and Fairy. Instead of a fully-fledged RPG, this two-game spin-off series is more of a sim management RPG, albeit with a heavier focus on the RPG side of things rather than the management side. Following on from the first game, it's your job to run a successful restaurant and inn. Alas, the road to economic success is paved with the plot holes of drama. Whether it's the travails of your staff, mischievous guests staying at the inn, or just troubles in the local town, Sword and Fairy 2 Inn will have you interfering with many lives. The question is, will you even have time to run your own business with all these shenanigans going on? While Sword and Fairy Inn 2 does put you in charge of running an inn, the business management element plays second fiddle to the game's story elements. It's this focus that'll either make or break the experience for you, depending on why you're here. Suffice to say, if you're looking for a deep, mechanics-driven sim, you're likely to be disappointed. Initially, your business will start off very small, with a measly 2 tables for customers in the restaurant and 1 room for guests, and maybe 3 staff members. As a result, growing your business means opening more rooms, setting up more tables, and hiring all the staff to manage that. That, in turn, means you need to both make money and pay attention to your expenditure. You'll be choosing which dishes go on the menu, deciding how much specials cost, and paying close attention to your overall resource balance. At times it feels quite hands-on, so you'll be tasked with doing daily shopping, deciding which meat or vegetables to buy for your menu, usually based on what you've run out of on a day-to-day basis. Before you can open your inn for the day, you can assign staff to whatever role you want them to take on, whether that's cleaning or waiting, but bear in mind that specific people are better suited to specific tasks. Of course, staff can also be trained in the physical disciplines, such as speed and strength, or learn how to raise the quality of their dishes, but all of that costs money. Becoming successful and self-dependent involves farming your own supplies, which is a balancing act between how much space you have versus what you can afford to buy. Initially, it seems really in-depth, whether you're checking out warehouse supplies or the ratings from your daily customers, but within an hour or 2, you'll realize it's actually really simple. So simple, in fact, that the game lets you automate the running of the inn during actual business hours. You could micromanage this daily routine to see what a customer wants, and then serve or reject them. But if you place one of your staff in a manager position, the process becomes fully automated and runs at double the speed, making the day fly by. Now this is a great feature if you're just here for the story and role-playing, but disappointing if you want to be a real business tycoon. Running the inn, at the end of the day, ultimately came down to keeping an eye on my wallet while trying to hit a few milestones, such as earning a certain amount of money or having a certain amount of customers there daily. There are rewards for meeting all these milestones, but they're all so easy you can probably tick them off during standard play, even if you fully automate management. The RPG side is where, no pun intended, the meat of the game really lies. Whether you're dealing with the interpersonal drama between the staff, or certain guests that become important to the story, there's plenty of voice dialogue to listen to and read through. Just note, if narrated dialogue is important to you, the voice track is only in Chinese, with subtitles for other languages. When you're not pushing the main narrative forward, you can build up an affinity between the cast, having them go on dates or just work together. It's a process that involves no real exploration like a typical RPG. The only time you control a character is when you head out into the one street town to buy supplies, effectively making Sword and Fairy Inn 2 feel more like a visual novel, with cute animated 3D models and stylish backdrops doing all the heavy lifting. All of which might have been disappointing if the story wasn't so much fun. The general quality of the writing, and indeed the translation, coupled with the feeling that you're taking part in a bit of a comedy, helps elevate the game above its peers. To keep you on track, there's a checklist of potential interactions to complete each month that push the story forward. These are all time-specific, so you can miss out on events if you don't initiate them within the allotted time. Most were pretty self-explanatory on how to get events rolling, but there were a couple that left me stumped since the game doesn't indicate exactly how to trigger them. Overall, Sword and Fairy Inn 2 is a pleasant diversion into the Sword and Fairy franchise and a great fit for the Switch, aside from one notable issue. There's some nice 2D artwork on display and the character models used in the dialogue scenes are cute enough, but it has a low resolution overall. Both in the town and in the inn, the visuals appear very fuzzy, even on the small screen, which seems strange given the 3D visuals are hardly complex. Resolution issues aside, I enjoyed Sword and Fairy Inn 2 as while the management side might be a little too simplistic for a sim, its light-hearted storytelling and characters more than made up for it. If you've got this far, please consider giving the video a like and maybe subscribing to our channel as it helps us grow.